On top, from below, from behind. If you're a woman or you're partnered with a woman who's looking to have better orgasms, the position might make all the difference. I'm Dr. RENA MALIK, urologist and pelvic surgeon, and today we're going to talk about the scientific findings about how different types of positions increase the ability for the female partner to orgasm. If you're in a committed long-term relationship and you tend to have sex the same way every single time, well, then you already know that it can get a little bit boring. Novelty in and of itself can increase orgasmic pleasure, and that's absolutely true. There's also certain very specialized positions like the coital alignment technique that I've talked about before that can also enhance orgasmic pleasure. But what about the routine positions that everyone sort of cycles through? The first study on this topic was performed in 1978, where Baylor students were recruited, and they were particularly women who were married and were Caucasian mostly, and had to have been in a relationship for at least 2 years. They basically asked them what positions they used, how often they used those positions, and which positions were more effective in getting them to reach climax. And what they found was that those that they used most often were also the most likely to get them to climax. And from top to bottom, or from highest to lowest, the most used position is face-to-face with the male on top. The second most common was face-to-face with the female on the bottom, followed by face-to-face on the side. This was then followed by prone rear entry, meaning you're lying face forward, then sitting face-to-face, then kneeling rear entry, and lastly, sitting rear entry. Now, this was in 1978, obviously a very small group of people who were highly educated and also happened to be married and were all Caucasian. And in 1978, preferences may be different than they are now. So I'm going to share with you the most recent study that I could find about position preference. But before I do that, I wanted to let you know all about my practice. My practice is designed to see patients for an entire hour, and I want to be there for all my patients throughout their journey. So when you need to message me or reach me, I'm accessible. You can message me anytime and get a response back very quickly. Also, I'm always researching new technologies and new things that can help you achieve your goals. If you'd like to see me in Newport Beach, check out www.renamalikmd.com/appointments, where you can get an appointment to see me at your convenience, either in person or virtually. And I'm licensed in 7 states where I can see you virtually as a doctor. If you are not in those 7 states, I can also see you for an educational visit. What that means is we do a video visit where we talk about and I educate you on the issue that you're having, but I cannot diagnose or treat you based on that condition. So this study was taking place in the Czech Republic, and they essentially wanted to assess exactly what we're talking about here. What position allowed women to orgasm most effectively? They did this by giving people a survey, and in that survey, they had 13 pictures of silhouettes of 13 different types of sexual activities that could include penetrative sex and non-penetrative sex. They were asked how pleasurable these positions were from a scale of 1 to 4, and they were also asked how often penile-vaginal intercourse actually led to orgasm. So this wasn't just testing women, it also tested men. They had about 11,000 men and 9,000 women, so a large number of people participated in this survey. The average age for men was about 36 years, and the average age for women was about 31 years. About 3/4 of them were in a relationship for a median of anywhere from 5 to 8 years. Most of them were college educated and had a graduate degree. So when asking these people how often they had sex, it was about 4 times a month. So people often ask, like, what's normal? There's really no normal of how often you should be having sex, but at least in this study, we're seeing that the average person is probably having sex once a week. And in this study, they found the most frequently used positions were similar to that one in 1978. Face-to-face, man above, face-to-face, woman above, but it was then followed by kneeling rear entry. And this is the sad part. 1/3 of women in this study did not experience orgasm with penetrative intercourse. Now, we know there is a percentage of women who don't achieve orgasm. It's usually somewhere around 12% is what's quoted in the literature, but this is certainly higher than that. And I wonder if this is because they're not getting clitoral stimulation or adequate stimulation at the time of intercourse. But of course, they didn't really delve that deeply into it. And of the women who achieved orgasm, 1/4 of them tended to achieve it 3 out of the 4 times. So 75%, they were able to achieve an orgasm with penetration. Now, what made women orgasm more likely? So they took all this data they got from the survey. Women who orgasmed more frequently were a little bit older, so probably because they knew what they liked and they were able to communicate that with their partner. They also had sex more often, probably because they're having more orgasms, so they're enjoying more sex. And they more often participated in certain positions. That included being face-to-face with the woman on top, sitting face-to-face, and they less often did kneeling rear entry. So I think with these positions, women tend to be able to sort of angle themselves in a way that allows for more penetration of the clitoris, both the external clitoris and the internal clitoris, so that they can achieve more pleasure in the female on top position, similarly with the sitting face-to-face position. So in this case, if you don't do that position very often, definitely try it. And also, again, try diversity, try different things in your relationship and see how it goes. You might find a position that you really like that you never even tried before, and it will make the encounter much more exciting and much more enjoyable for both parties involved. If you guys didn't know, I have a new podcast and it's coming out with brand new episodes starting this Friday. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform that you listen to podcasts on, and make sure you download those episodes as soon as they come out so you don't miss them. I'm sure you guys are going to love it. Obviously talk about sex, but we also talk about a whole bunch of other things that are important for your health, great for your knowledge day to day, and I'm certain that you will really enjoy it. As always, remember to take care of yourself because you're worth it.